आदाब नमस्ते। इंडियाज़ बिजनेस लेजेंड्स के एक और एपिसोड में हम आपको मिलवाने लाए हैं द डार्क रोस्ट कंपनी के 3 फाउंडर्स से। These co-founders are friends and they're literally running their company out of their own home. Come, let's meet them. Hi guys, हसन हो रही है?
Hi.
Yes.
And how come you guys are up at the same time? From what I know, आप लोगों के timings थोड़े match नहीं होते हैं.
Very uncommon.
Thanks to the investor pitch today, we all three had to wake up and be ready at the same time.
So hi Vasundhara.
Hi.
I would like to know, how did you guys meet? Because you founded the Dark Roast company together.
So Sandeep and I met in 2007. That was a completely different era from today. We met over Orkut. I don't even know
Orkut
if Gen Z
dead.
knows that word.
It's almost dead.
Exactly. So we met through a common friend, then we started chatting on Orkut. And for the first 1 year, we just kept planning कि अभी मिलेंगे, कब मिलेंगे. And then
So where were you living and where was he?
I was here in New Delhi only. He was in West Delhi. His college, he actually took up a college right next to my place because he was interested in me. And then slowly, he'd come every day, and then we'd start meeting every day. We'd sit at Cafe Coffee Day at that time.
Okay.
And that had become like an every 2 to 3 day affair. And then I think a year after that, we started dating. We got married. We were a pandemic wedding. We got married in 2020.
Okay. So what were you guys studying?
So he and I, there's like I think a 2 to 3 year age gap. So I have studied communication design and advertising, and Sandeep has done his BBA.
All right. So going on from there, how did your careers move forward? Because you guys
so-
are going separate ways, right?
Yeah, we were like completely going separate ways. We didn't have an idea that there was any scope to culminate it or cross paths actually. So when I was done with my college, I joined a place called McCann World Group, which is an ad agency. Sandeep was working at Let's Intern, a startup internship portal.
And this was which year?
And this was around 2012-13.
Okay.
And then much later into my job, I realized that I wasn't cut out for a 9 to 5. And in an advertising world, 9 to 5 is nothing. It's like a 10-9 media, you would know.
Right,
So,
right.
it would go on and on. I conveyed to him that I don't think I'm cut out for this. You want to do something, to batao. And he was like, let's start an agency together. It was actually my classmate who had mentioned that if he's doing client servicing and you're the creative over here, why don't you guys come together? Because that's the main 2 elements of an agency that is required. And plus he was also doing business development. So then I think it rung a bell that why not start something of our own, and we founded a marketing agency in 2013.
So what was the name of it?
It's called Brandonama Creatives.
Okay. So how are you doing there?
So
That was your first venture, right?
Yeah, so that was not. In college, I was into handcrafted items. So I used to paint. That was called Nukkad art. So I used to paint kettles, trays, coasters, and all of that, hold exhibitions, etc. And then when Brandonama happened, that's a decade-long journey, right? Like it's exactly a decade plus 6 months now. So that initially was very, very hectic. We'd work, we wanted to create a good portfolio, and initially we'd help a lot of startups with their branding. I have created some 100 plus brands myself, and it's been very creatively fulfilling because that is the aspect that I personally felt as a creative person, which was getting throttled is a strong word, but it was getting curbed a bit when you're working for someone else. And then I had creative freedom in that sense. I could, we both could like carve the path to wherever we wanted to take our portfolios. So yeah, it's been fruitful. We've worked with some huge brands, and it's been fulfilling.
So when you moved on to the Dark Roast company, what was the motivation behind it?
Coffee, love for coffee. You know, actually the starting point was that Sandeep and I would, and my brother, so the 3 of us were massive coffee buffs. And when I say coffee buffs, we had moved on from instant coffee to actual ground coffee and beans, etc. So that was sometime around, I think, 2010. So all through agency life में तो वैसे ही coffee consumption, you have more coffee in your system than blood. That's a joke, right? So in 2017, I think, summer, we ran out of coffee at home. And the coffee we would consume, वो तब stock में नहीं थी. And we were like, yeah, ठीक है, let's find an alternative. And we couldn't find anything. We couldn't find a good coffee on the shelves, online, etc. anywhere.
So Nescafe is the popular one.
But that is instant coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were like, we use the machine and the mocha pot.
Okay.
And we've been using the Italian mocha pot, which you'll also see on our logo, which is where the brand story comes from. So that we used to brew using that. And in that moment, there was no coffee available, at least in this part of Delhi.
Okay.
And we realized that, okay, maybe this is a gap. The ones that we did try, which were available, we didn't personally like. So that's where the idea came about. And then we got into the researching of coffee estates and getting in touch with them and understanding coffee, actually theoretically. So yeah.
So where did you first source your coffee from?
So our coffee is basically sourced even now from Coorg and Chikmagalur.
Okay, and those are places which are popular for
they're
coffee
renowned
plantation.
for coffee growing, even though most of the chunk goes outside India.
True.
And the best coffee hardly makes it to the market over here. But yeah, that's what it is.
So Sandeep is also free from his investor pitch. Let's welcome him, and he can also join us now.
Sure.
So Vasundhara told us the brand story, and now we have with us Sandeep, who's back after his investor's pitch. So Sandeep, hi, welcome. Hi. And how did the pitch go?
It went well. We have to complete some details, so I think fingers crossed.
So what are you targeting at when it comes to?
In terms of our funding, we're looking at once a year. That's the first round, and we're also looking at expanding more in Delhi and investing more in marketing.
All right. All right. Coming down to the company, when you started it, what was the thought behind it?
I was actually a tea drinker. I used to have like 10 cups of tea a day. And Vasundhara introduced me to ground coffee, and that's when I started consuming it on a regular basis, and now I don't have tea. And also, there was a particular coffee that we would consume on a regular basis, and that sort of went out of stock. We I think drove around asking cafes what coffee they were using and whether we could get some. And then we sort of understood that cafes also source it from the same place, but they can't give it to us. So that's when we understood that there is a sort of a lack of supply in the market for consumers and a lack of choice, because Amazon would sell certain brands that were imported and they were extremely high in price. So that's not something that you can consume on a regular basis. So that's when we started the entire process of reaching out to coffee farmers and trying out different samples, and then coming up with our medium roast blend, which was launched as the first product.
In 2017, right?
Yes.
All right. So when you moved forward, and what were the other products that you introduced?
So we introduced a dark roast and a light roast blend in the same range. So medium roast and dark roast are the best sellers. We also introduced honey, multi-floral honey, and that was also generally exported.
That happened when Preet came on board, right?
Yes. So we collaborated with Preet, and we started multi-floral honey. Jamun honey is one of the best sellers. Even though these were products that were generally exported and Indian consumers were not aware of these products. And we also started with bee pollen and bee wax, and we're also into instant coffee. So our Irish cream and roasted hazelnut being the top sellers.
All right. So specifically in North India, we're all very used to the instant coffee. So how does dark roast coffee concept cater to that taste?
So in terms of the dark roast, there's a specific, like a niche market where consumers prefer dark roast and medium roast coffee. And they are ground coffee consumers, and they generally use instant coffee, sometimes for making their cold coffee. Otherwise, they are specifically hooked onto ground coffee.
Because it's stronger.
It's stronger. It has more caffeine content. It has a certain aroma, a certain flavor. Every coffee has a unique. They have their unique notes or flavors. And that's something you will not find in instant coffee. In terms of instant coffee, there are different kinds. The market is flooded with different kinds being sold as 100% Arabica or being sold as the topmost quality, and there are a lot of premixes that have added sugar. To the health conscious consumer, added sugar is something that they don't want in their products. And there are a lot of preservatives also being added to different products. And so instant coffee, we have the topmost quality, and that is what we continue to sell. That's freeze-dried 100% Arabica. And all our flavors are natural or nature identical, and that's it. It's just coffee and a flavor, and we don't add anything else.
All right. So what would be the USP of your products?
USP is selling like pure products directly from farmers to our consumers' kitchen. In terms of instant coffee, as I mentioned, it's freeze-dried 100% Arabica, which is the topmost quality. In terms of our ground coffee and coffee beans, we're selling specialty coffee. So India produces 16 kinds of coffee, and there are only 4 kinds of specialty coffee. And we are selling one of the specialty coffees. We do plan to launch the others. And also this is in terms of, so the Coffee Board of India and even rest of the world have a grading system for coffee beans. We are selling AAA grade Arabica, which is the highest selling, highest graded in terms of the quality. In terms of honey, we make sure that it's completely pure. There are no preservatives added. We are also making sure that we are informing consumers that it's not to be fed to infants, or how not to add it to hot water, because that sort of reduces the properties of the honey or just completely removes them. And it's cold filtered, so we make sure that we are selling pure products and not products that we would not want our families to consume.
So you majorly look after marketing.
Yeah.
What are the innovative marketing techniques that you're using for the company?
So I think it's too early to start using innovative marketing. So the difference, I think, what we've done is that most companies would run towards marketplaces and register themselves on an Amazon or a Swiggy or other e-commerce platforms. Our main aim was to, and then they are solely dependent on sales for those platforms, which a lot of times can also have a high returns from consumers. What we have done is we focused on building our website, doing our SEO, listing on Google Shopping, and making ourselves sort of self-sustainable, where our expenses and everything is taken care of. So now we are not investing in the business is taking care of itself. That's within 4 months of launching.
That's interesting.
And now we'll be looking at marketplaces and other platforms. So SEO has already started showing results, and Google Shopping also we've started generating sales. And our website visitors have also gone up from 350 per month last year to about I think 1.1k plus 1.15k in Jan. And otherwise we are looking at barter collabs with influencers, and also looking at specific exhibitions to market it to the right audience.
So your business is now profitable. As an entrepreneur, how did you take the decisions of going on with no surety? What keeps you motivated, basically?
So I think I've run a business for 10 years. So, and I also come from a business family.
Okay.
And even in my first job, I was sort of handling everything. I was the first employee there. We built it to a 20 plus team across 4 cities. So in terms of my capabilities, in terms of both my partners' capabilities, I was pretty sure that it is going to work. Even in the past, when we launched in 2017, we had a lot of repeat customers very quickly. We'd launched with, I think, we launched with about 6,000 rupees, and overnight we made 16,000. So I think overnight, within 12 hours we were profitable. And So in that sense, I've run a business from zero, and I know how to make it profitable. And I think we also had over a decade of experience. Both Preet and I have been working for 15 years. Vasundhara has been working for almost 12 years now. So we knew that like we've been doing it for other brands, and we were clear that we till the time the product is of a good quality and we're selling the right thing. I think it's just about taking the right steps. So in that sense, we were pretty sure that it's going to work out.
Do you guys chill over coffee?
We do. So Preet was an instant coffee drinker, and whenever he comes over to our place, whenever we are working together, he started having ground coffee. And otherwise, Vasundhara and I have whenever we're not doing anything, we just one of us is making coffee.
One of us, I think it's
mostly me, but when I'm lazy, I just tell her, which is rarely, like it's probably twice or thrice a year, but otherwise it's mainly like there is a very strong coffee bond.
Great. All right. All the best for your venture.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Sandeep and Vasundhara spoke extensively about branding and marketing. We have with us the third co-founder, who's Preet. He's going to explain about the operations and sales aspects of the company. So we have with us Preet, who looks after operations and sales at the Dark Roast Coffee. So Preet, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Nice to talk to you today.
Thank you.
So just quickly take you back through our journey of where we started. I had my own honey brand back in 2009 and done it for over a decade. And of course, COVID struck and had to rejig things, rework the way things were working. Sandeep has been a close friend and also someone I used to do some running with. So I'm also a marathon runner. And we had discussed this, of his brand and what I do and how we can do something together. And that was probably you could say how the seed was set for the Dark Roast company to be brought into being, and here we are now.
So when did you first decide on coming together?
So 2020 is actually when we first had this conversation of, talking about what we can do together. And it was just a conversation, nothing really stemmed out of it, but we left it at that. And this 2023, almost September of 2023 is when we actually talked about it again. We really sat down together because he was in Delhi, I was in Delhi. We could really brainstorm a lot of ideas, and we thought now this is the time to push forward and get everything going together.
So you started towards the end of 2023.
That's right.
And you're handling operations also. And
right.
So number-wise, how do you think it's going?
So I think what we've been doing in the last 3-4 months has been primarily focusing on the product. That is very important for us. Making sure quality control is in check. That is what I also look at. Making sure everything is in order. So before we want to blow up, we want to make everything be completely perfect. That is how I've done it in the past, and I want to continue doing that. Numbers is something which doesn't worry me at this point. We of course, that's something we want to look at, but we want to first fix everything on the back end before we really go aggressively.
So within the first 6 months, you've been able to clock 50 lakhs.
Close to that number, yes.
Right.
Not there yet. Right.
So which is phenomenal. What were the strategies you were working on when it comes to sales?
Right. So I think we've used a mix of various strategies. We've had some partnerships in the offline space, which we've again tried to use better. Of course, we have our own website, thedarkroastcompany.com. We make sales from that, and we've also done some affiliate marketing with a few influencers, try to sell through various channels, and of course use performance marketing to the best possible manner.
And are you using other e-commerce portals as well?
So far, no. We've of course had listings on Amazon and other platforms. We want to now relaunch there again. As I mentioned earlier, we were trying to fix our packaging and make everything be astute as possible. So we've got that now. Probably next week is what I would think will be available on various platforms across e-commerce and Q-commerce also.
Okay. And what do you think is the driving force for you?
Personally, I think I've been extremely passionate about what we do. I think as entrepreneurs, we all are very passionate about what we do. Farming is something which has been exciting to me since I was probably in my early teens, and that is where my love for the honeybees was there. So that is where the honey came from. I visited Coorg about 5 or 6 years back through a friend again who was into farming, and I saw some coffee there also, and that's where in fact I wanted to again start the conversation with Sandeep, because I knew that he's already in this space, so I thought why not do it together. I believe in forging partnerships and working collaboratively, so if I know someone who's doing a good job and we can do something together, I would rather not try and reinvent the wheel again, but rather work through that as a faster and better way of moving things.
That's actually a very good idea, to collaborate with people who are like-minded and who can take your brand to a newer level, right? When it comes to decision making, how do you guys decide on something?
I think
Suppose there's a conflict,
Sure.
which is
of course,
quite possible.
Of course. I think we've had these hard conversations pretty often, and I personally love them because I think the best of ideas and the best of decisions are made when you don't agree with each other just because you want to be cordial to each other.
Right.
So we've definitely, a lot of things we've taken some time across, maybe more time than would be ideal, but of course we want to be at the best decision for what is best for all of us and for the brand. That is primarily what the paramount is for us, is to put the brand forward rather than what we feel in, and our gut feeling tells us that's not important. There has to be some numbers, some information, something to back whatever we do.
Right. I think you've got a point there, that we've got to trust on numbers more than gut feelings when it comes to starting a business and taking it forward. So what other things do you think you can do in terms of business strategies?
So I think in the past we've done it. I mean, we've had fantastic sales before in my own brand. I've done that. Again, I think there's no dearth of opportunities currently for entrepreneurs. I think it's partially I don't know if you want to hold a gun to me later on when I say this, but in the sense that it's easier to do business for people who weren't as aware as they are now. There are a lot of platforms available. The way of selling has changed, and it's changing constantly, and I think you need to be constantly evolving yourself and be aware of what's happening, so you can be with the curve, if not ahead of the curve at least, and not playing catch up to where the world is. Interestingly, we've had interest from across the world now for our products, not just limited to India where we are selling right now. Germany being an important market to us, UAE being equally important, the US has also got some interest. We are still trying to, of course, get our paperwork together before we can really push in those spaces also, but soon we expect to be selling in those markets also, and I think that's where we see a large portion of our sales also coming through.
Okay. So honey and coffee, we've got a plethora of products and plethora of brands in this segment specifically. Sure. I've asked this question to Sandeep also. What according to you makes your products unique?
So I feel that it's fantastic that there are a lot of players already in the market, but at the same time we've enjoyed success with closer to almost 50% of a retention rate of anybody who's tried our products, be it coffee, be it honey, be it any other product that we've sold to them, be it a salt bar also. They've come back and loved it. The importance is to maintain quality, which I spoke about really in the beginning. Quality control is what is important to us. So we want to maintain that standard of quality at whatever price we are selling at. Of course, we want to be competitive, but we will not negotiate or bring down our quality at any point in time, be it to bring in larger sales. So thankfully, I would say we have enough of a customer base and increasing with the awareness, and a lot of our business happens through word of mouth. So people who have tried our products will talk about them. Perhaps if you've tried them, you would love it, you would tell your friends. So that kind of trust is built much stronger, rather than putting up ads just for a mass market brand. Probably that works for us. That is what works. So again, coming back to quality is where we want to stand out and maintain that going forward, and we have that customer base now which is ready to accept and willing to stay with us for the long run.
So what is that one quality that your coffee and honey products have, which would attract consumers? So, or like you said, that a lot of people are liking it. Sure. Why do you think it's getting that
so this is again a space which is unexplored, I would say, partially, especially in India. There would be kind of there is some kind of level of if we could call it that there would be maybe a depreciation in the quality that is being sold in the Indian markets at least. People are not still ready to sell products in the best of quality which is available. Example, we don't get basmati rice in India, which we believe is basmati rice, but the best goes out to the international markets. So we've tried to maintain those qualities and sell it in India and bring it to the Indian customer. We believe that the Indian consumer is justified to be getting such things at a reasonable price, and they are willing to pay for it. So why not give it to our own Indian customers? Why only sell to the world? India has changed, so we have to move with it.
Truly, truly. So thank you, Preet. And with this, we'll wind up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned as we bring out more interesting stories of innovative entrepreneurs for you. Goodbye.